and welcome to another edition of Judgment Day with me, Matt Rebar, joined by Logan Molnar and Raina Budel, and we're going to get right into the jury box with Am I the Asshole? This is a thread on the Reddit, a social media app, and it's an anonymous kind of post. So let's take a look at this title. Am I the asshole for admitting to my half-sibling that I don't love them enough?
Oh my God.
Ooh.
I have a lot of half siblings, so this hits home for me.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Are you good? Are you good to do this, Raina? I don't want to put you.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I just I love my siblings. I don't want to make it sound like it's traumatic.
Yeah.
I just how could you not love a sibling?
We'll see.
Okay,
we'll see. Raina's like, how is this an article? I'm like, girl, I don't know. I just have the article. We'll see. I have a lot of feelings too, Raina. So this might be a longer episode. So buckle up. Get your extra large Dunkin'. Get your everything bagel with cream cheese schmear and listen up. We got a big one. All right.
Let's do it.
I, 33-year-old female, have 3 older siblings, 37 male, 35 female, 35 male. So she's the youngest of 4. And then a half sister, Laura, who's 24. So she's 33, half sister's 24, 9 years younger, it looks like. Yeah. My dad cheated on my mom, and that's how Laura came to be. So the stepsister was born out of adultery. My mom was understandably hurt when she found out about the cheating, was willing to forgive my dad and stay married until she found out about Laura. And after a DNA test proved paternity, my mom filed for divorce, and we were all upset about the destruction of our family. Okay, pause. So she was totally fine. You screwed some chick, no worries. But because there's a kid involved, no, that's a little intense for me. But you know what? I get it. That's her boundary. Moving on. In spite of everything, our mom actually encouraged us to have a relationship with our dad, but we resented him and hated whenever he tried to get us to interact with Laura. Our parents didn't tell us, but my oldest brother knew that if Laura didn't exist, our family unit would have stood a chance. After each of us turned 14, we told our mom that we didn't want to spend the night at our dad's place and that we would not be with him if he ever brought Laura around. Dad had custody of Laura, so it was rare and whenever he or his side of the family complained, we promptly reminded everyone that we were all here because of his actions and we had no obligation to Laura. Ooh, this is already really rough, but it's really hard because kids are kids and they're at this age. It looks like maybe 10, 12 when this happened, the cheating happened. Maybe if she was 9, so she would have been 9 and the oldest would have been 4 years ahead of her, 13. Oldest is 13 or so, youngest is 9 when the adultery baby comes around. Very sensitive time period. So it's hard for me to really feel angry at these kids for being okay, dad broke the family apart because of this affair, because of this baby. We don't want to really be with our dad, but we really don't want to be with the stepsister. I get it. It's not fair. It's not right. The baby is innocent of that adultery and of the father's crime, obviously. And then, of course, you have 4 people. You have the oldest, who I think sets the tone and the narrative, right? You have the first one at 14 saying, I'm not going to, interact. And then, the youngest follows. So, okay, that's just a lot of things that I wanted to kind of throw out there.
Yes.
Moving on. We were all like this for so long. And I guess over the years, I started to soften up because when Laura reached out, I responded after a few days and we slowly started a relationship. She reached out to the others, so her older siblings as well. But the older siblings all politely refused, stating that they're not angry at her anymore. They wish her no ill will. They have no interest in a relationship.
At her?
At the younger stepsister, I know.
Half sister, right?
Half sister, yeah.
Half that sister. Sucks. That's she didn't choose to be born, and now all of her siblings are sorry.
It's just really bad emotional intelligence. They don't wish her ill will. They're we don't hate you. We just don't really want a relationship simply because, you shouldn't be here. Or my dad, you're the affair child, or you broke up the family. Ooh, a little sticky. At least they're not antagonistic. It sounds like they just because antagonistic versus that kind of boundary. That's
setting boundaries.
So here we go. The older siblings told the younger sibling that they wouldn't hold it against her if they want to have a relationship with Laura. They would be cordial with Laura at any events the younger sister invited Laura to, and they would be civil if Laura was like invited to the wedding. So it doesn't appear like they're like angry. They're not like vindictive. They're not being rude. It's just they don't want a relationship. They just don't have, they don't want a bond. They just don't. Going forward, this is like, oh my God, I'm looking. This is like an essay, you guys. This is like a thesis paper. Laura is now engaged and wants me to attend the wedding. And I was willing to until I learned about Laura's mother being present, which, okay, I had to learn that the mother would be present.
Oh boy.
Who's like, I don't know if I want to invite my mom to my own wedding. Like,
Yeah.
that doesn't happen that much, right? So younger sister still despises Lauren's mom, because Lauren's mom is the reason the family broke up, yada yada yada. I still despise this woman.
The father's reason the family broke up, but go on.
You know, it takes two to tango. Younger sibling. So younger sibling still hates the woman. She politely refused the invitation, but Laura said that she would be willing to look into changing dates that would suit me best if I would give her a heads up. So she didn't tell her why. She said no. She said no. I knew that no matter what I said, Laura really wanted me there and would be trying. So I told her the truth. I said I still hated her mom. I didn't want to see Laura's mom, so I wasn't going. Laura was understandably upset, and my dad berated me for trying to make her choose between me and her own mother. I countered that I was never giving an ultimatum and simply just removing myself because, of course, the mother of the bride had higher importance. My dad said that if I had ever loved Laura, I would attend regardless of who was there. I said that while I was able to develop some type of love for Laura, I don't love her enough to tolerate her mother. Members of my paternal side, are calling me the asshole, but I felt like I was being honest. And here are 6 clarification edits, just in case you need more clarification. Technically, my mom and siblings, don't know if Laura's mom knew, but she never denied knowing. And I think if someone was in her position and was truly innocent, she'd be quick to voice it. Although after all this time, if she finally did come out and say it, I wouldn't believe her without proof. So it looks like the Laura's mom, who cheated on the family, knew about it. That's what she's implying. 2, yes, my siblings and I were hurt, angry, and bitter children at the time. We were upset with Laura because if she didn't exist, our family would have still been together. We've grown up now and stopped being angry, but that doesn't equate to wanting a relationship. I'm willing to have one. My other siblings don't. That's their choice. 3, my brother was told that our mom would have stayed married to our dad if Laura didn't exist by our cousins, who were told by their mom, the maternal aunt, who my mom confessed to during the divorce. So that's a fact, apparently. 4, over the years, I've spoken to my mom in length about Laura, and while she bears no grudge against Laura, but never doing to force a relationship. Oh, so apparently the mom encouraged but didn't push a relationship with Laura, but the siblings were like, no, we don't want a relationship. So the mom wasn't like poisoning the children against Laura. 5, I don't know where people are getting that I've completely forgiven my dad, but I don't. However, if I did, that would be because he is my dad. Laura's mom is nothing to me, and I gain nothing from forgiving her. Okay, true-ish. 6, last one, and then finally you guys can talk. I never told Laura that I didn't love her enough to tolerate her mom at the wedding. I told my dad that if he tells her, then that's on him. I would never say something like that to her face because no matter how truthful it is hurtful. Maybe one day I can love Laura enough to tolerate Laura's mom at something, but it won't be in time for her wedding. Oof.
Oh my goodness.
Oof. So let me just restate the thesis.
Okay.
Am I the asshole for admitting that I don't love my half sibling enough, basically, to deal with the mom at the wedding? So that is the crux of the situation. Although there was a lot here, so I would love to hear any myriad of opinions you guys have on this one.
Raina, you go first because you have you have half siblings.
Well, I just feel like children can be very possessive of their mother just because there's, a bond. You can be like a daddy's girl or a mama's boy, but I feel like most children, like, their mom is their number one, like, mentally, where it's like biologically, like you can't explain it. So there's always this like special bond between like a mom, and especially at that age, I feel like you're extremely possessive of your parent and your parents' belief, and your parents mold you. So when the mom says, "Oh, this child ruins my family," she may not have meant it as literally as the children took it, because
Mhm.
it is very it's far more complex than child equals family broken equals I can't love the thing that broke my family. Where, maybe the mom at the time was like, yes, it's very easy to place blame on this child. The child did break up my family. But I mean, she has to place some blame on her husband. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like, it's, I think at that age, because, as you were explaining, Matt, like these children, I'm thinking, a child didn't write this post. This is
Mhm.
a 20 something, you know what I mean? So there's a lot of time, you know, for your feelings to not change in that long. That's way, way, way too long. And um that possessiveness is still there. And especially from like the other siblings, I mean, as a unit, it's one thing, but just breaking it down to her, ugh, ugh, that's what I got to open with.
Yeah.
I think it's really naive for her to keep repeating, if there was no child, then my parents would still be together. I
Yes.
think that's just every divorced kids, thought like, oh, if XYZ didn't happen, my parents would still be together. I don't think that's true. I think that there might have been more women that the dad would have gotten with, since, there was no result from the first one. I think it would have continued, even though he might have been like, oh no, like, I'm done now. As they say, once a cheater, always a cheater. Like, I don't think that
Yeah.
just because
Yeah.
there was one kid that,
Mhm.
that was the end of their marriage. I think that the cheating was the end of the
Mhm.
marriage. So I think that all of them being upset with this half sibling who has done nothing wrong. It's not even like she's necessarily always saying, well, your mom probably did something to warrant being cheated on. She's just living her life. She was just born, so it sucks having all these siblings that don't want anything to do with you, and the one that you do get along with, I is understandably upset. I do get that, but I don't know. It's just, aren't weddings supposed to be a place where it's kind of awkward and there's people that you don't really want to see and don't really want to talk to?
Yeah.
True.
You
That's
do
the
it for the
thing.
bride and groom.
You can't like shut your goddamn mouth for 6 hours and deal with the mom being in the same room with 100, 150, 200 people. I
Yeah.
mean, like, I don't believe that there's only maybe like a small handful of people that I'm like, oh, I hate them, because to me, hate is such a strong emotion. Like, I might dislike a lot of people. I might not like, I might like being about people, but like, even people that I hate, like, I can be in a wedding, I could be in a room with them. I just don't
Yeah.
interact. Or if I have to interact, it's casual, it's quick. And it's like, that's why I'm a little confused by like, you just can't get over it enough. But in
And it's
terms
not
of the
even like
trauma
it's like
though,
it's not like it's a small holiday just with a couple family members. It's a wedding. There's probably, even if it's a small wedding, 40, 50 people there. You don't have to talk to her.
I think what's really tough though is, I mean, they've made boundaries. And I think all three of us can admit that these boundaries are a little childish, that they need to kind of get over their emotional trauma and realize, okay, what dad did wasn't right. But we need to move on. And like, Laura is not guilty of separating the family. That is all on the dad, and that is all on the mom. And this other woman, like, who knows what she knew, what she didn't know. I mean, it doesn't even sound like the dad and the other woman are married or together. It doesn't, like, because
Yeah.
wouldn't she have said that? Like, it just sounds like it was a fling, a couple
Yeah, because the
hookups.
dad has custody of Laura, or had
Yeah.
custody of Laura.
So again, like I don't get why there's all this venom for the woman who gave birth to Laura. And we're talking, this is now 24 years, because like they were about 9 to 13. Go to therapy, get some help, dive into these emotions, because this is just not healthy.
Yeah.
I mean, really, like, you still, like, she made the comment like, oh, I still haven't forgiven my dad. Like, it's been 2 decades, girl. Like, when's that gonna happen? But again, I've always said this, as much as we want closure, as much as we want harmony, we are not entitled to it. We're not entitled to closure. When we get ghosted on a date, as much as it sucks that we want to know why, we don't get it. And when people cut us out, vice versa, we kind of have to stand by that measure of like, it's on them. And this relationship, as much as I think they need to kind of get over it a little bit, they've made that boundary clear. Like, we don't hate you, we're cool, but like, we don't want a relationship. And it sucks. It's definitely not optimal, but
just poor Laura.
oh yeah, I mean, that's the person I feel really bad for, because it's clear that the mom and the dad, it just sounds like a mess. I mean, I hope that this marriage that she has, that is really like the start of a really true family for her, because this family has not been a family, to say the least. So, but in terms, do we need to talk more, or do we have a judgment about this?
I just want to say one last thing.
Yeah, please,
I mean,
please.
You talk about closure, and that's like a really good point. This is her opportunity to get whatever potential closure, understanding she might need, the OP, where if she went in with an open mind and potentially let that wall down, even come in with an open heart, if that's possible, she might learn things about Laura, the mother, the whole side of the family. She has sounds like she has no, like you said, she sounds like she has no idea who these people really are. So a wedding can be a healing experience. It doesn't have to be drama like the movie weddings are.
Yeah.
She's really wasting the best opportunity she has to, fix these feelings if that's what she really wants. Doesn't sound like that's what she really wants, but she's really squandering this opportunity that could change her life and change everyone's life for the better. So that's in her hands, and she's choosing to, do with it what she will. And
oh boy,
that's all I got.
Yeah. Are you ready for some judgment? A little judgy chime? All right, who wants to go first?
Not me.
She's 100% the asshole.
Okay.
Completely. Wasted opportunity, and it's incredibly selfish to push someone out of your life like this. There are boundaries, yes, I understand, but why doesn't she talk to her mom and say, hey, have you changed your mind about Laura all these years? Maybe, how should I be feeling about this, Mom? Maybe some conversation like that. Because I feel like all of her feelings hinge on her mother's words all those years ago. And you are an asshole for not going to your half sibling's wedding on the basis that you do not love them, and you blame them for your parents' decisions. So yeah, this whole thing reads more of like a confession than it does
this is my confession,
seeking validation more than even asking if they're an asshole. Like, this is very validation seeking. And she knew the answer when she posted this.
Yeah,
fair.
I lean slight, you're the asshole, and here's the one reason why. Excluding all of the trauma, the drama, the story, the background, we get to the meat of the issue. She doesn't want to attend the wedding because she, quote, doesn't love Laura enough to deal with the mom at the wedding. Are you just gonna walk into the wedding venue and see the mom and just like grab your champagne flute, slam it against a table, and cut open the mom? Like, get your shit together. Like, I just think that it shows not necessarily that, like, you don't love Laura enough, but like that you can't like function or like you can't deal. Like I don't know. I can't imagine being in a position where I'm telling someone, hey girl, I don't love you enough to deal with your mom. I'm not going to the wedding.
Yeah.
It's not like it's like a party for 4 at Chili's or like, let's all have a Dairy Queen Sunday outside the Sunday. No, it's a wedding.
Yeah.
That's why slight wedding hassle. Is she allowed to have boundaries? Absolutely. Does she not want to see the mom? I get it. No worries. You still hate the mom after 24 years. That's on you, boo-boo. But you can get over it for the wedding, I think. But you know what? I am not an emotional counselor. At the end of the day, you know, this thread, am I the asshole? It's just kind of looking at the morality of the situation. It's looking more like, I guess, ethics than it really is looking at like what you're allowed to do. Is she allowed to say, no, I'm not going to the wedding because of the mom? Absolutely. But it kind of makes you a bit of an asshole, a little bit, at least. So, Logie, what about you?
Yeah, I would go slight, you're the asshole. I echo what you guys both say. She's in her 30s. I don't remember exactly how old, right? She's some 30s.
I think 33, girl. 33.
So it's just, I feel like she has a lot of hate in her heart and has for a long time. And so I think she personally doesn't want to heal. And it's affecting other people now. Now her half-sister, Laura's, only older sibling that talks to her, isn't going to be at her wedding. And that's going to suck, she's always going to remember that. And if they continue to have a relationship, it's definitely going to tarnish that, I think. So I think, I'm not saying that she has to go, but I don't think that her reasoning is necessarily right. So like slight, you're the asshole. Because I get it, but yeah.
You guys, I am kind of shocked that we fucked up twice in a row. The thread says, not the asshole.
Oh my God. I'm shutting this laptop off. No.
Raina is like, look, Raina is like the girl with the champagne flute at the mom's neck. This is, yeah.
Get it.
Let's read. Let us read, and then we can judge if we disagree. Top comment, not the asshole, but poor Laura. I do encourage you to reconsider the wedding because chances are you don't have to interact with the mom. Your dad and the affair partner were assholes, but it's been 24 years. I think it's unfair of you all to believe that if not for Laura's existence, the circumstances of which she had no say in, that your parents would have stayed together. I get believing that as kids, but now as an adult, has it ever occurred to any of you that adultery is rarely an isolated problem? If your parents had tried to work it out again, there's no guarantees it would have stuck. Laura just happened to be a scapegoat. Yes. Now, the second top comment, everyone sucks here. I feel like everyone is really rude here because Laura didn't ask for any of this. So far, what I'm seeing is Laura is the only decent person here. The only person that everyone should be angry at is the father. Great point. 3, not the asshole. Not wanting to be around the woman your dad was fucking behind your mom's back is a reasonable boundary. If your dad tries that manipulative bullshit again, point out that if he really loved you and your siblings, he wouldn't have destroyed your family and caused so much pain in your childhood. Yeah, and the fifth one, NTA, not the asshole, not the asshole. Everyone sucks a little bit, but yeah, it definitely is leaning more not the asshole. Are we surprised on that one?
See, I'm not. That's why I went like light, you're the asshole, just because I think the reasoning, like, because I don't love her enough is kind of but I mean, I do get where all the commenters are coming from, that you're allowed to have that boundary. Yeah,
this thread is very pro individual rights, the boundaries. So in their defense, they're like, you don't want to go, you don't have to go. If that is a boundary for you, that's a boundary, which makes sense. But to me, ethically, speaking of that next level, it's like, you know what I mean? That's why I like that we all kind of pointed that out together, because this jury is not convicting on bad evidence. We're convicting on good evidence today. So, all right. Well, after that one, we need a break. Oof, I need to go take a shower, I think.
It's a rough one.
Well, thanks so much for being on another episode of Judgment Day, and peace out. Judgment Day is a podcast by Starvolt Studios. Judgment Day is executively produced by Matt Rebar, Logan Molnar, and Raina Butel. For more awesome content, just go to starvoltstudios.com or on their Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter page.